Welcome back to Danford Golf Instruction. If you're watching this video, then you just recently watched my last chipping video. And in this video, we're going to make chipping really simple. We're going to teach you which clubs you should use from around the green, how you calculate that, basically take the guessing out of chipping. If you do this correctly, I guarantee you're going to start dropping strokes. Also, since you purchased this video, I'll send you a PDF on basically explains what we talk about, but you'll always have access to this video if you went ahead and purchase it. So if you haven't already, if you're a big fan of YouTube, if you've watched me on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to us, leave us notes, give us a like, and we're always happy to answer any questions that you might have. So we're going to make chipping simple. We're going to start talking about what club to use from what part of the green and take that guessing out of which club to use. So if you're like most golfers, you usually only use a sand wedge or a 60-degree wedge because you think that is going to be the simplest way for you to get the ball up in the air, because a lot of us struggle with chipping. All right, I'm going to take you through 4 different shots. All right, some of this has been called the rule of 12. If you want to look that up, you can. All right, but lofts on clubs have changed over the years, so it doesn't exactly apply the same way as it once did. But the first shot we're going to do, we are going to use a sand wedge. But what you need to understand about a sand wedge is it has a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you fly it 10 feet, it's going to roll out 10 feet. Okay. The big thing that comes along with using this system that I'm going to teach you is it is just basically when you're past the edge of the green. Okay. So if you're 40 yards away, something like that, it's not going to work. So we're talking you just missed the green, and we really want to get up and down. Make it very simple to get up and down. So sand wedge, I've just paced this off to the flag stick behind me here. All right. And it's about 20 paces. So I'm going to take out my sand wedge and I'm going to land it 10 paces onto the green, and it should roll out the next 10 paces. So it was a little short, so I could have landed it just another yard. But when you start using this system, what I want you to do is I want you to always pace it out to the flag stick, walk back, and with the sand wedge you could say divide by 2 whatever the paces is. You could walk it out again, all right? Or you can just, if you're really good at fractions, you can do it, I call it fractional chipping, okay? But you have to make sure you walk it out in the beginning to make sure that you get really good at it. So the first thing that you're going to do whenever you hit one of these shots, all right, and I'm going to take you through sand wedge, pitching wedge, 9-iron, 8-iron. Anything less than that, it's going to be doesn't have enough loft to make it work correctly. So you're going to pace it off to the green, and then you're going to walk backwards to your ball, make sure that the paces are the same, and then with like your sand wedge, you're going to divide it in half, or whatever you paced out, divide it by 2. Okay? And what you're going to focus on is just that spot on the green where you want that ball to land. Okay? If you land it too far, of course it's going to go too far. If you land it too short, the ball will end up short. But if you hit your spot, you should be able to hit it really close and really drop a lot of strokes. Now you do have to take into account, is it an uphill chip, downhill chip, are the greens fast or the greens slow? Okay, so it might change a little bit depending on if your greens are really fast or your greens are really slow. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this chip. I got a sand wedge in my hand. I'm going to try to land it halfway between me and the hole. Okay, you never want to use this system and have it land on the fringe. We can't account for how it's going to react off the fringe. So your goal is to get it to every shot to barely land past the fringe, so then it rolls out like a putt. So I got about 4 feet left, checked up a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. All right, so that's how you play a sand wedge. Next we're going to go to a pitching wedge, which is a 1-to-2, or whatever you walk out, you divide by 3. So now we'll go over pitching wedge. Like I said, you pace it out and you divide by 3, or it's a 1-to-2 ratio. Okay. Now this is off of a fairway or a fringe, so it makes it a little bit easier. You can still do it off of rough. It's the same concepts. All right. Just you got to make sure that your technique is still good to make sure that you can hit these shots. One of the hardest things when using this system is controlling the pace of the club. So if you're somebody who's a long, slow pace, the ball of course is going to come off slower. Okay, so it's not going to go as far. If you're a short, fast pace, it's going to come off too fast. and it's going to run by, even if you hit your spot perfectly. Right? So you have to really work on controlling the pace of the stroke. So if each pace of the stroke is very similar, especially if you're a more advanced golfer, this should be pretty simple. But if this is basic kind of new stuff for you and you don't have any idea, it's going to be a little bit more difficult in the beginning. All right? I've given this to a lot of my players, both beginning and advanced, all right? And they've all dropped strokes using the system, all right? So this is our pitching wedge, and we're gonna land it just past the fringe onto the green. Okay, so once again, I got about a 3-footer coming into the hole. Hopefully I can make that. It's like a 95% chance. All right. Then we'd go to a 9-iron. All right. It would be a 1 to 3 or divide by 4. And then your 8-iron would be a 1 to 5, right? Or you divide by 6. All right. So if you have any questions, make sure you email me, send me a comment on YouTube, however you find this video. All right, because I want to make sure that you're doing it right, make sure you're choosing the right club, because if you do this correctly, you're really going to find that chipping is so much easier. It's really simple, and you're going to make a whole lot more chips. And you're going to make putts are going to be easier, your stroke's just going to get a lot simpler, and it takes the guessing out of which club should I use.